And we're recording. Every year is getting shorter. Never seem to find the time. Plans that either come to naught or half a page of scribbled lines. Hanging on in quiet desperation is the English way. The time is gone, the song is over. Thought I'd something more to say. Friends, this is the Formless podcast, number 86, with Tyler, the superhuman, and me, Dustin.
Man, we got to come up with a nickname for you. I think I've said it before, like Tyler the superhuman.
Yeah.
Dustin the dashing Dustin or the daring Dustin.
Yeah. Maybe we could work something out there. How's it going this morning?
It's pretty good. Like I said to you before we started recording, I'm a little sore. Spent most of my day yesterday cleaning up leaves. And so I'm still kind of like feeling the need to stretch a little bit, blowing leaves, raking leaves, wheelbarrowing them, but feeling pretty good. How about you?
Cleaning up the property. Feeling pretty good today, actually. Did a little class this morning and had a little bit of fun. Just a small, like 4 or 5 of us. It was a good time. Got rid of the kids for the night. I joked around with one of the other kids that was here today. He's like, "Where's your sons?" And I said, "Oh, we put them up for adoption." And his face, the look on his face was like, "Wait a minute.
You serious?"
Yeah. So no, we dropped them off at the fire station. No, I didn't do that, folks. It was just a joke. But I did not win the lotto. Somebody in Cottonwood won it, I guess.
Really?
Yeah, I just saw that this morning. A friend of mine texted me.
How much did they win?
It was the mega $1.2 billion, I think. The big one.
Somebody in Cottonwood won $1 billion?
Don't quote me. That's just what I heard. That's just what I was texted this morning. So don't know for sure. Don't know if it's even true yet. Haven't even looked at it. I just heard that.
Alrighty.
My personal conspiracy belief is that the lotto, because I've never met anybody, and nobody that I know of has won up on this side of California. I don't believe it's real. I mean, think about it.
Fair enough.
Do you know anybody that's won the lotto?
Just scratchers.
Yeah. And what's the most they've won? $100?
Oh, maybe somebody I knew won 1,000 or a couple thousand, but nothing. Too crazy.
Chump change compared to like $1 billion or $1 million, right?
So you think
my theory, my conspiracy theory, is that they just randomly make up names, put them in the newspaper in the old days. Now they put them on television. They hire a paid actor to collect a big cardboard check, smile and shake hands and talk to the camera, and then you never hear from them again.
Could be.
Yeah. So I'm
inclined to believe that.
Yeah, I'm like, maybe give me some of that money and I'll be inclined to believe that. I don't know. That's just my personal tinfoil hat conspiracy.
Wow. Okay, yeah. No, I'm saying wow, like, yeah, I actually could believe that.
I could see somebody doing that, like pulling that scam. Sorry, my pants were bothering me there. I'll fix them.
Yeah. A lot of that going on in this day and age.
Yeah. For sure. Anyway, back to
how we're doing.
How we're doing, yeah. I'll get off my craziness there. Things are good. Had a good Christmas?
Yeah, it was a good Christmas. I bought my parents one of those, if you haven't seen them, they're called a flow hive. And they're for beekeeping.
Oh, wow. Your parents are into beekeeping?
No, but I got them into it.
They are now.
And so I bought them it's called a flow hive. You can look up videos on YouTube. It's essentially a beehive, kind of looks like a birdhouse, but it's a beehive with inside you have a synthetic plastic comb that, like bees.
Like the honeycomb?
Yeah, like a honeycomb. When bees make their honey, they make the honeycomb, and then they put the honey in the honeycomb. But inside this, it's got a synthetic plastic honeycomb that's supposed to be safe for the honey that the bees make, and the bees use this plastic honeycomb, and they make their honey inside this plastic honeycomb, and inside this beehive is this plastic honeycomb, and when these honeycombs get filled with honey, and you can see through the beehive, it's got clear windows.
Okay.
And when and you haven't seen these?
No.
Okay. And so the honey, and there's different chambers for each honeycomb. I think the one I got, my parents, has 7 chambers. And so you insert this metal rod at the top. Or you can do it anytime, but it's really when the honeycomb section gets filled. And then and of course you gotta have the bees, and they gotta be doing their thing, right? Yeah. At the right time, spring, summer, whatever. But you insert this metal rod, and you crack the honeycomb, and because it's plastic, it actually separates slightly, so the honey
slips out,
and the honey drizzles down through the honeycomb, and it comes down and exits this hive in like a little tube that you put there.
Do you fill up your honey?
You just fill up your jar.
Oh, wow.
And it makes beekeeping so clean and so easy. I mean, you still got to take care of the bees and whatnot. But everybody that's reviewed them pretty much has said these things are fantastic. You essentially have honey on tap.
Wow, that's cool.
They're made in Australia. And so I bought it for my parents.
Did you get it on Amazon or something?
No, on their website.
Oh,
it's
on
like
their
flowhive.com or something like that. So,
wow.
Anyways, yeah, they're so cool. They've won so many awards, revolutionized beekeeping, like back in 2015, I think it was. This father and son team, they are beekeepers, but back then they had this idea for this flow hive idea. And so they went and did like a crowdfunding video and a crowdfunding campaign, and they were only looking for like $70,000. They were like they did this video, put it up, and put it out there. And this is 2015 we're talking about, so not that long ago. And they didn't raise $70,000. They raised like $12 million.
Whoa.
Yeah. And then they were able to lock in their design, build a bunch of units, like startup costs to start selling, and it's just taken off. And so it's
how cool.
Yeah. So yeah, Flow Hive. But I got my parents one. I got them the tricked out version. There's like the basic model, that's like the original 2015 or 2016 version of the Flow Hive.
And then they've like upgraded.
They've upgraded, but they still sell that version. It's still good.
Yeah.
But I got my parents like the tricked
out
deluxe. Oh yeah, it was literally the deluxe version of like their newest model. And so I'm sure it'll be obsolete in 5-10 years, whatever. But
now. Is it like a bat box where, like, if you put it up, the bats will go to it, or like, do you have to get honeybees now?
Well, they say that. I've never been a beekeeper.
Yeah, so I don't know.
Getting into it, but they say that you can buy bees and put them in there because it's got the brood box and everything where the bees stay. Or whatever. Any beekeepers out there are going to be like correcting me.
Yeah.
But or you can capture your own hive, but I don't know if that takes time. I don't know if that's how that goes. But they say you can do that. You can capture your own hive.
Well, Palisadro's a big huge town.
Yep.
Yeah. Huge. They ship queen bees like all over the world.
That's where we're kind of looking to get a queen bee and the bees. So yeah, so we had a good Christmas and.
Were they excited about that? That sounds cool.
Yeah, so I had kind of been planting the seed in their mind for a while. So Christmas Eve, I was at my parents and we watched a movie, and then after we watched the movie, I was like, hey, I want to show you this cool video of this thing on YouTube. See what you guys think. And they watched the video and they were like, man, that thing's so cool. And my dad, his first response, like while the video is still playing, he's like, "How much are those?"
Oh, really?
And I was like, "Ooh,
like
I got
hold your
it."
horses because Santa Claus is coming.
Yeah. And so I had
You planted the seed.
I planted the seed, and so earlier in the week when I had received, I ordered it like a week before Christmas, and it came from Australia.
Wow.
But shipping, they're ramping up shipping and everything, and so it was all wrapped. It was already under the tree in these big boxes. And so we're, feet from my dad. He's like, how much is one of those?
Oh, they're like $1,000.
Yeah.
Don't even worry about it.
And my mom's like, yeah, those are so cool. Like, yeah. And then Christmas morning, they opened them up and they were just like, wow. Like,
that's cool.
Yeah. So
that's cool.
And they were just surprised. But like, yeah.
You kind of rolled the dice. What would you have done if they were like, that is stupid?
I'd have used it for myself. I'd have been like,
walked over to the tree. Well, you ain't getting this.
Yeah. We're returning this to Santa. I'm gonna use it. Like, I love honey.
No, I do too. I'm just like playing the devil's advocate there a little bit.
Well, I prepped it. I had known. I had talked to my dad multiple times
about,
and he's always. They've always used honey.
Mm-hmm.
They buy local.
Well, and they're big gardeners.
Yeah, gardeners.
And honeybees play a very pivotal role in gardening.
And we have, at my parents, they have, what is it, like 20 some fruit trees. So,
oh yeah.
So I mean, they got a lot.
You need honey. You need honeybees.
Oh yeah. Yeah, but
that's awesome.
I think my dad's plan is to put it kind of by his garden, where he has a huge garden every year. And he just has all kinds of veggies, and so that'll really play a big part. But and I don't know if you knew this, but honey is, you want to eat local honey. Did you know that?
I've always heard that.
Yeah. Because
why, I don't know.
You want to eat local honey because, I mean, I don't know all of it either, but the bees, when they take the pollen off all these flowers, well, there's the stuff in that for allergies.
Yeah, I've heard that. Yeah,
yeah. Like, so you want to, so that goes in the honey, so to help out with your allergies, if you and help out with that. That's why you want to eat local honey.
Very cool. Very cool.
So, and I'm like, I just want some lemonade in the summer with honey,
Yeah, that's awesome, and tea and coffee. And...
So. Here, Mom and Dad, you're gonna use the Flow Hive, and you're gonna give me some of the honey.
Honey,
I better get some honey out of this.
That's awesome. That's awesome. What is that? That must have been a pretty cool surprise for them, though.
Yeah.
They got a good laugh.
Yeah, they're like, okay, well, I guess we're getting into beekeeping.
Right on. Right on.
So, but that was Christmas morning, so that was pretty cool, and then we had just had a good Christmas, had family over, and
right on.
Had Joe, Joe we've had on the podcast multiple times. Joe and his wife, which is my cousin Tish, who just got her black belt, and their kids, they came over.
Right on. Did like Christmas dinner and all that?
Yeah, we had tacos.
Oh, cool.
Mexican food, yeah.
Right on
Christmas.
Right on. Hey, why not?
And then we watched National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation.
That's a good one. We have a list of movies that we watch during Christmas time. And occasionally we put a new one in, but it's always like Christmas Story. You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
Yeah.
National Lampoon's is one. And I always push for the greatest Christmas movies of all time. Lethal Weapon and Die Hard. Those are both Christmas movies.
That's right. Lethal Weapon is. It takes
place during Christmas.
That's right.
And so is Die Hard.
Yeah. Right?
Now I have a machine gun.
There's always some controversy that people feel a need to say, like, Die Hard's a Christmas movie. Like,
I'll die on that hill.
I know. I definitely agree. It is a Christmas movie, and I don't know why there's a contrary argument to that. Like, what?
It takes place during Christmas.
Exactly.
And he brings a Christmas gift for one of his kids on the plane. He's got a big stuffed teddy bear, remember?
That's right.
Yeah.
I don't know why people get so excited to disprove that. Like,
It's got a good story.
Yeah, we rewatched it. Yeah. Oh, no bullets, no bullets. You know what? I saw a meme too that First Blood
was a Christmas movie
was a Christmas
too.
Movie. Yeah, because there's a Christmas tree in the background.
I love it. I love it. So next year it's all action movies for Christmas. Sorry, family.
But how was your Christmas?
It was good. It was really good. We didn't really go anywhere. We stayed home, but the kids had a great time. Surprised everybody. And then I found a prime rib on sale, so I bought that and made Yorkshire pudding.
Ooh.
Have you ever had that?
No.
So you cook a prime rib and you take all the drippings and you mix it with flour and eggs and milk, and it makes this bread, and it's like almost like a puff pastry. You make it in a cast iron dish, a pan, and it gets like really big, blows up, and then it's just awesome. It's just so good. It's not exactly the healthiest thing, but it's awesome.
And you made that for your family?
I made that and prime rib, and then my wife did baked potatoes, and yeah, we went hog wild on food and ate until
you were stuffed.
Yeah, so that was my favorite part of Christmas. It was good times. It was good times. Can't complain. Can't complain. It was good times. Yeah. So,
that sounds like a good Christmas.
Yeah, being that it's the end of the year and it's time to, we're not getting any younger. What was the thing I read? Never seem to find the time. We thought we'd talk a little bit about goals and what we have for goals for this year. Maybe what are some goals for next year. Do you do like long-term goals or short-term goals or both?
I think my goal for this coming year is like I'm doing like January 1st to January 1st.
Okay. Like 1 year, calendar year.
Yeah, of like goals. Like I think that's where I'm going to go. And obviously you've got your 1 year goal, your 5 year goal, whatever. You should have all those. So what about you?
I do, like, I write lists. I'm a big list writer.
Yeah.
Like if I have an idea, like, for something like, I want to buy a car. And then it's like, okay, well, that car costs X amount of dollars. What do I need to save every month for that? Not, it's loosey-goosey, like that kind of thing. Like, or for instance, like in March, there's going to be that seminar in Portland.
Right.
So I bought tickets for that. And now I'm like, okay, I need to save money. So basically, any money that doesn't go to the family, any money that I can stick in my wallet, I just save that. Like, so that's my goal right now. That's like my short-term goal. And so like I find myself with $2 extra that goes in my wallet. I like fold it up and put it in the back of my wallet so I don't see it. Because if I have money, I'll spend it.
Yep.
I'd be like, I'm hungry. I'm buying lunch today. You
yep.
know? So, but as far as I personally, my idea of a goal, like I have a big goal, and then I write it down and I ignore it. Like I don't look at it. I'll write down all the things I need to do to accomplish that big goal, maybe 5-10 things, and I'll focus on the first step. And like, okay, just put my head down, get to work. Like, let's take this first step, get that out of the way, and then move on to the next one. And because what happens is, for me, like personally, like if I look at the big goal, like let's say, I don't know, okay, buy a car for whatever reason. I don't know why I'm not buying a car, but if I'm gonna buy a car and I need $50,000 to buy this car, well, $50,000 is a pipe dream right now because I don't have $50,000 extra. But like I could save $100 this month, or so like I'll focus on that goal. And if I look at the big goal, I get discouraged.
Yeah.
Right. So like I just ignore that. I wrote it down and I can forget about it now. So focus on that baby step, because the baby step is obtainable, and that's doable, right? So I just focus on that little baby step and move to the next step, and focus on that one until I can get to the next one. And it keeps me motivated. Because if I like, you know what I mean? Like that's obtainable. I can do this little step, and it's like, or like trying to do the splits, for instance. If I was to try and do the splits right now, especially being cold and not really warmed up anymore, I might make it to 90 degrees.
Yeah, and you might tear something.
Yeah, exactly. But if I can just focus on like, okay, let's get to 95.
Right.
Then 180 degrees doesn't seem so out of the picture.
Right.
Like, okay, if I just focus on 180 degrees, I'll never get there, because I'll quit before I even attempt it. You know, because it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
So I take my pain in little increments, you know, so to speak, I guess. I don't know. Does that make any sense? That kind of sounds like a bit of gibberish there.
You know, and while you're talking, I kind of had this idea for the podcast.
Well, no, this was 100% your idea, I think, wasn't it?
What?
The goals? Talking about goals?
Oh, no, I thought it was yours.
Oh, maybe it was mine.
It was yours. But what we need to do, we're getting close. We're getting close to episode 100,
yeah,
which is awesome. And we've been going at this now, over 3 years?
Since 2021.
2021. So
right
before our black belt test.
Yeah.
Like a couple months, right? Or was it 6 months? We might be closing in on 4 years.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about it before we jumped in.
Yeah.
But it was like 2 weeks before we jumped in.
Yeah. Yeah, right. So I think so we're at least at 3 years, if not close to 4. We'll have we need to look that up. What our anniversary is.
Yeah. Well, that's pretty simple. I don't have my phone. It's right over there. We can look up our first episode that has the original date that we recorded.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here, look it up right now. Let's talk about this. So, and you need to go to Spotify, right?
Yeah.
So I was thinking that what's interesting is what I really think would be a cool thing to do is, because we've been doing the podcast so long.
So November 29th, 2021.
So we just hit 3 years, 2021 to 2024. So we're just over 3 years. So, and we're only growing from here. We're only going up.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I think what we should do is, I think you and I, in order to hold ourselves accountable to our audience and to each other, I think that we, over the next couple weeks, we need to, in the next couple podcasts, we should write down what our goals are for 2025.
You're throwing the gauntlet down.
Yeah. And we should have that piece of paper, that whatever, that notepad, we write that on, and then we got to keep that. And then in January of 2026,
we review them and go,
we got to review them.
Oh man. Okay.
And hold ourselves accountable. Like, what are goals if you're not?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're not holding yourself accountable,
if you're not.
Yeah.
Because I started thinking, I was like, well, what were some of my goals last year? And I was kind of thinking, and I was like, man, I mean, I don't know honestly if I stuck to any, or if I didn't have any last year. I'm pretty sure I did, but
I think mine personally was just to make it through the year, just survive.
Yeah.
You know, and I think now I'm finally to a spot where like I got my head above the water a little bit, and I'm like, okay, all right, I'm used to these rough waters, so now I can look ahead. Look for the shore. As before, I was just like, okay, you know, keeping my head above the water a little bit here, like, oh, we're going under for a sec, you know. So I think that's a general consensus for like a lot of people right now.
with the way the economy is,
with the way
world,
just everything,
yeah. And that is so reactive.
Yeah,
something it can be. It can be.
No, it is. It was definitely a reactive situation instead of a proactive, mindset. It was definitely a reactive mindset. Like, oh crap, this broke. Fix it.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, there's a leak. There's a leak. There's a leak.
Plug with all your different fingers, all the leaks. Well, and I remember all the troubles you had with the Dream Crusher van.
The van, and then the job, and it was just like,
one thing after another. And I mean, I'm down to do that. Like, write them down and circle back in a year from now and see where we are on these goals.
That sounds cool. I could get with that challenge.
You know what I'm saying? Like I think we really need to do that. And then that's why in the past I've written down my goals, and you have them and you go back to and refer to them and say, this is
what I'm doing.
This
is my focus. Yeah. I think it's there's got to be a mental health thing towards working towards something like that. It's got to be good for your psyche, or whatever word you want to use there. I've been
totally
really into just trying to get better. Like, I don't care what it is. I just want to do things better than I did before. Like if I made dinner, if I tried to make a special meal, it's like, okay, what can I improve? What can I do to make it better? What can I do to make this better? My relationships with my kids, or my wife, or work, or regardless of what it is, just focus on like, what did I do right? What did I do wrong? What can I do better next time? And like I think that has been one thing that's kind of kept me sane over this last year and a half of everything. Is just like, instead of trying not to focus on the negative, because I can go negative like super quick. My mindset just shifts to that if I let it. And trying to be conscious of that, and just, so that was like a trick I played on myself. Like, instead of focusing on negative stuff, what can I do to be more positive? And that, I think that was one tool that I tried to use.
Oh, that's cool. And that's so enriching, because that's not like personal goals that are like, oh, I have a goal, like I'm gonna try to lift a certain amount of weight in a certain exercise this year, but that's just for me. Whereas you're like, I want to do better in my relationships. That's enriching not only you, but that's enriching your kids, your wife, and that's being a good example for all of them.
Yeah, and
it's not just for you; it's for them.
Exactly.
Too.
Well, yeah, it makes everything better.
Yeah, it makes everything better, and it makes you better. It's for you, and it makes you better, and it makes them better.
There's a certain selfish aspect of that. Like I'm a yeller. Like, I yell. I'm loud.
Okay.
And I don't think that's not a secret to anybody. I'm a pretty loud person. But it's not something I'm like super proud of. Like, my first reaction with my kids was like just to kind of blow up. I blow up, and then everything's fine. Like, whatever. I blew up. I blew my steam. Now I'm cool. But I didn't like that aspect of myself, and I didn't like that I did that to my children, because it didn't make me feel good. And so I've been focusing on trying not to do that with my kids, and like taking a breath and just like, okay, this would normally tick me off, but we're gonna try and work past this, and I still fail at that quite a bit. But when other people notice it, like my wife or the kids themselves notice it, then I'm like, okay, I'm making some progress. It's challenging, and it's not always it hasn't always worked in my favor. But like it was a selfish thing for me because it was something I didn't care about myself about, like that I did that. Like it bugged me. But it benefited everybody. But it was like because I didn't like that, I worked. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? It was like
tried. Yeah. Okay.
I did it for my family. Like I'm working on it for my family, obviously.
You're working on not yelling.
Yeah,
for
not being a jerk, basically.
Oh, not jerk. Okay.
Yeah,
I said that wrong. Sorry.
Well, no. You said it right. But it's for them, obviously, but it's like mainly for myself. Like I didn't like that aspect of myself. So that's what I've been working on. I don't know if that doesn't make any sense.
It does.
I'm trying to make it make sense.
Like you're saying you almost wish that you wanted that part of yourself to be worked on for your family's sake except for primarily your sake for your family.
It benefits my family. It benefits my kids mainly. But it was the goal of it was for me.
Yeah.
Right?
I follow.
Yeah. It's like, yeah, that works. It was for me because I didn't like the way I felt afterwards. Like I'd yell at Tom for something stupid and then I'd be like, I just blew up at him. I lost my cool. And I didn't need to do that. I could have approached that a different way. And I would have felt a lot better about myself and about the whole situation if I would have just like been cool.
Yeah.
Instead of like screaming at him about whatever for the 10th time, you know. So I really been working. That was like one of the things I've been working on the last year and a half.
Interesting.
Yeah.
That's good.
I do want to get back to
that shows the fatherly love.
Yeah. Thanks. I want to get back to what you were saying though with the goals and writing that stuff down and like revisiting it every year.
That was part of it. What you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wanting to do things for your family.
What kind of goal are you like? What do you think? Like what kind of goals? Is it a fitness goal? Is it a financial goal? Is it a
kind of everything?
Whatever.
You know?
Wide
everything.
open.
Wide open. I mean, I've had this idea of like having this pad, and I'm just gonna write down, a $1 pad you get at Walmart or whatever, Target,
the Dollar Tree.
Yeah, or the Dollar Tree, and you just write down what your goals are, and that's what that pad's for.
Okay.
And I mean that I think, and then you have it written down. It's like, how bad do you want it?
Yeah.
You write it down, and movie stuff. I want to get this movie going this year. For some fitness goals.
Okay.
And
I like that. Oh man.
Writing it down, then you have a record. It's like,
and we'll make it public.
And say, okay, we are going to circle back in a year, and we are going to see where we land.
Okay.
Has Dustin changed his attitude a lot more, or whatever you put down?
Okay. I'll have to think about that. That's a good.
Yeah, but what everyone out there, your listeners, what do you guys think about that? Are you doing something similar? Email us and let us know. Message us.
Yeah, one of the things that I've done for the last few years, and last year I didn't really finish, has been the Discipline Equals Freedom, the Reset Challenge that Jocko does every year for the last 4 or 5 years. And there's like 8 things on it, and you have to do them, and you're supposed to post every day when what you do and things. And that's one of those things. Actually, somebody messaged me about that the other day. I can't remember his name. I was going to give him a shout out. Darn it. I hate that. Anyway, they messaged me if I was going to do it again this year, and I hadn't really thought about it. And so I think I'll probably do that this year too. But that's just like for the month of January. And the idea is that you create a good habit in 30 days and you continue it for the rest of the year.
Huh.
But that's probably been one of the in the last 4 or 5 years, that's probably been one of the biggest positive changes in my life that I've done. So I'll probably get that going again. The def reset. Reset. Now I've got to think of some goals. Okay, you've given me a challenge to work towards. I like that.
Yeah. And then you subdivide it down and you start thinking, okay, well, I mean, you make this list of goals and you say, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this year. I'm at least going to try.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if we just said, well, we'll check back in next January, well, that's good, but right?
We're probably going to put that notepad away for a year and then come back to it like 3 weeks before it's due. Oh, I got to scramble to make all this happen. So we'll probably have to revisit it like
multiple times throughout the year, like at the end of every month or every 3 months or something. And
that's good.
We got to hold each other accountable and hold the audience members too, them accountable, and they hold us accountable. Like, and it's like, oh,
nice. Okay.
Like, what did you accomplish? What did we go after? So
I'm gonna get I already have a notepad. I'm a step ahead of everybody.
Yep, you already have one.
So I'm gonna write this down. We're gonna get a list of goals, and then let's revisit and.
Oh, I think it's fair to say
every quarter.
At least every quarter, if not sooner. I mean, it's almost like, okay, status update on our goals, like our every.
We can do that every week
or okay.
Because we podcast every week, right?
I like that.
Okay.
It could be every week. That might be that. That's I like that idea. I was thinking it could be once a month.
Okay.
But every week is even better because then it's even like, hey, what did you do this week to work towards your goals?
I didn't work on anything this week.
Yeah, you said you were going to go.
Now I got to double down and do more. Okay. I
was supposed to go to the gym every day this week, 5 times a week, and I didn't. So now I've got to go 10 next week.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Got to catch up.
Play catch up. But it's just a way to hold ourselves accountable. Like, because if we just wrote down our goals, it's like, oh, well, see these goals next year, and then it's a year later.
Move on. Yeah. No, and I like that. I like that a lot. Okay, deal.
And all these, obviously, some of our goals should be
podcast related.
Well, I'm talking that podcast related. They should also be, personal goals. But a lot of times, sometimes people have goals and they don't want to share them, in public, and that's cool
personal
too.
Goal.
Yeah, personal goal, and you just say, hey,
this is my personal goal.
This is my personal goal. Did I do anything for my personal goal this year? This month, this week?
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, no, and then, so some people might not want to say, but.
Well, in that case, don't share. But if it's something you're comfortable sharing. Do it. Yeah. No, I like that. That's cool. That could be something there. I like that a lot. I'm down.
It's a roadmap.
It's funny. I was looking up something. I came across something about goals. This guy, and I have no idea who he was. And I'll see if I can find the story again, and I'll share it to our social media. But he was talking about how you should, like, if you're looking for a goal, you write down 10 things that are important to you, but write them down in the present tense. Like, I make, instead of I want to make X amount of dollars. He says, write it down as I make X amount of dollars. I drive this car. I have this job. Write down 10 things just like that. And then circle the one that's the most important thing to you. Then grab a new piece of paper, write down that thing, and then write down things underneath it that you need to do to accomplish that thing. And I was like, oh, that's cool. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
It's just an interesting thought experiment,
Yeah.
So
I like that.
So I'll probably try and do some hybrid thing of that. I'm not really good at following directions. I'm always skewing things. I need to get better about that. But no, I could come up with a handful of goals to work towards for sure.
Yeah, because then we revisit them in a year, and it's like, did we do these? Did
Yeah.
we accomplish these? Did you at least try? I mean, and it's okay, if you have goals and you don't attain them, that's okay. Did you try?
Well, did you try? And did you get better?
Yeah.
Did you learn something? Learn something about yourself? Learn something about whatever, carpentry or whatever the case is. Yeah.
There's like that, it's like you got to have, it's like with shooting. You did competition shooting.
Oh, man, yeah.
You've got to have a target to shoot at. If you don't have a target to shoot at, like what?
That's the point.
What are you shooting at? Like you don't even know where you're shooting.
It's like golfing without any without any holes.
Yeah, that's a good analogy.
Can't hit a hole in one if there's no hole, right?
No, and I got to thinking about that because in preparation for this podcast, I started thinking, I was like, man, what were my goals last year? Did I attain any of them?
Honestly, I don't think I had one last year. I don't think I've had one for a little while now, other, than what I talked about with my kids.
I remember you saying, I think last year, you're like, just to survive. Like, I just want to survive.
Yeah,
so you survived.
You survived.
So now you could just do that again, or...
No, that's not enough, though. Like, I'm still hungry for more, so we're surviving. So now we need to, like, swim to shore. We need to find, land now.
And build a house.
Yeah, exactly.
Set up shop.
Exactly. Oh man, that's cool.
Yeah, so I think that's what I think I'd like to do, because then we're held accountable, and it's public. And maybe I'll write down some of mine and be like, well, here's some of the goals that I'm going to share. And then here's some ones that are some more personal, private goals.
Yeah.
And, but yes, have I moved towards this week or no?
Exactly. I think it's important. You said something back there a minute or two ago about breaking them down, because you need those little wins when you're struggling.
Right.
You need that little, like, I don't know, that little sweetness.
Yeah. That
little like, oh, I got this. Well, I didn't get the big goal. I got this little thing here, and that's one step closer to the big goal. So that's my victory today.
Right there. Yeah.
One of the things that
kinetic linking.
Yeah. Kinetic linking. That's good. One of my bosses, I have a lot of bosses with this job, and one of them's thing is, because it's chaotic, it's completely chaos all the time. What did you do to win today? Like it doesn't matter how crappy the day went or how sideways things went. What did you do today to win?
Yeah. And
like big or little. And like sometimes she'll send out an email to everybody, and it's pretty cool of her actually. List what happened today that you won. Okay, well, I sold a display, or nothing went well today at all, but I survived. And sometimes that's what it is. Sometimes it's like I made it through today. Okay,
that was it.
That's my win. Well, all right, I got another day ahead of me. I got one more thing, and that was a neat thing for me. It changed my outlook on things a little bit, and like look for the good. Look for the thing instead of focusing on all the negative stuff. What can you do to focus on the good things?
Yeah, the good things that happen every day.
That happen every day. That you generally take for granted. You know what I mean? It's easy to like. Here's a great analogy, right? If you go to a restaurant and the food's terrible and it makes you sick, how many people do you tell? Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone, right? Dude, do not go to Joe's, whatever.
I got sick.
Yeah, that place made me feel like I was dead. And you tell everybody a horrible story. But if you go to a restaurant and you have exceptional service, the food's amazing, you might tell a person or two, like, hey, go check out that restaurant, go check out Fred's, Waffle House or whatever. But you don't tell everybody. Misery loves company, right? If you tell me a terrible story and I tell you a terrible story and we just build off of each other and keep going, we pile on the crap.
The misery.
The misery, yeah. But we don't share the victories.
Oh, okay.
So you change your outlook and you focus on the good stuff, and then you see more good.
Yeah.
Right? So that's a good one.
Hey, this positive thing happened to me, and then this positive thing happened to me, and then boom, 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 and you're building off each other. Yeah, okay. I follow.
So I think that we could do something like that with this goal thing.
Okay? These are my little goals that I accomplished this week.
Accomplished this week or this month or whatever, and that's awesome. That'll be some positive outlook and some mental clarity for everyone, maybe.
Like the goal that I won't say, but your goal that you said before we started recording, I was like,
yeah.
I want to hear updates on that.
Okay.
Like how do we
make this happen? How do we accomplish this? Yeah, that's.
What are you doing? I want to be kept updated.
All right. Sounds good, man. Sounds good. We'll work on that.
But I've said this before, that accomplishing the goal of making the movie that we did in 2023 was not the result of one big positive action of getting something done.
No.
It was all these little kinetic linking incidents that all of a sudden linked together to form one knockout blow.
Yeah.
And it wasn't just like I woke up one day and was like, oh, we're gonna do this. And made it happen. It was like little decisions that added up.
Yeah.
And like we said, the kinetic blinking, like Sensei talks about, you got to throw a front punch. Okay, so
starts with your toes.
Starts with your toes. Your left foot, you're hitting with your right hand, and we're using that example. Your foot leaves, and then as you take that step, then it pivots, and then your rear foot pivot. Your rear foot pivots, and then your knee pivot. It's not pivoting, but that area of your body is, and you're pivoting at your hips, your waist, your shoulder, and the punch, and it's all those little movements
add together
to deliver that blow. And I think that's with those little updates, like, oh, okay, end of January, what did you do to accomplish this goal? And so one of our, somebody's goals might be, well, this is a 5-year goal. So to get from the 5-year goal, what did I do in 1 month that will satisfy the 5-year goal?
Yeah.
And so, I could definitely come up with some of those, because like right now I'm working on my next script for my next movie, and I've already got to set my goals and say, well, I want the script done by this date.
Yeah. I got to have it done in May.
Or sooner.
Whatever. Yeah. But it takes time to make all of that stuff happen. It's a big project. So yeah, that makes sense. I got you.
Yeah. So, but just really, it's really hit me about that kinetic linking.
Mm-hmm.
It's all those little decisions that all of a sudden, boom, and you're traveling so far with just those little movements that all then link together. You're actually traveling a great distance.
So let me ask you this: like when you're making your movie, right? You got the big goal. You got the top Miracle Mile. I'm going to make this movie, Miracle Mile. You don't keep looking at that goal, right? Like you look at it once in a while to see if it's still there. Yeah. But you're like, okay, so I want to make this movie. I need a script.
Yeah, that's right. Exactly.
Yeah, so let's focus on writing this script. We're still got the goal here, but let's write this script and make this thing solid, as good as we can. Okay, now we got the script. Now we need locations, and now we need actors, and so on and so forth. You're still going, okay, it's right there. Get to work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're looking down the road, but you're looking at the steering wheel right in front of your hands, and then you're looking down the road. You can't drive around just looking at the steering wheel. You got to be looking where you're going.
Yeah.
But definitely what's in my hands right now. Okay, and then where am I going? Where's my destination on my vehicle? I heard that analogy one time.
That's a good one.
Or it was actually in reference to for shotgun shooting. It was in reference to a hood, like a hood ornament that's on the hood of your car. Like they don't really think they have those anymore, but those like.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, you know, like a Buick has its hood ornament at
with
the
the
end.
leaves and the little bars in the middle.
Yeah, but I mean, it's like on your hood of your vehicle on the edge of it, right? You don't see that very much anymore, but old school you did. Well, you don't drive around looking at that hood ornament the whole time, right? Because then you get in a wreck, but you're looking where you're going, but that's kind of an indicator of where the end of your car is.
Yeah.
You know, and so that was
with shotgun shooting.
That was in reference to shotgun shooting in that, shotgun shooting, you're supposed to look at your target, right? You're not looking at the bead on your shotgun. But that's
a reference point.
It is a reference point. But the funny enough thing is that specific person who's a gun store owner, they actually admitted, they said, well, I actually close one eye while shotgun shooting, and I believe they said this. Maybe if I can't remember correctly, but they closed one eye. I've always been told you're supposed to keep both eyes open for shotgun shooting.
Okay.
And but this person said they closed one eye, and you can use the bead on the tip of your shotgun as an aiming point, as if you're aiming a rifle or a pistol. But the better thing is to look at your target rather than your bead.
Okay.
Makes sense.
Yeah, I'm following.
So, anyways, that was in reference to the hood ornament. But,
okay.
I mean, there's all kinds of videos out there if anybody wants to research that, literature to read. But I've always been told for shotgun shooting, keep both eyes open and focus on the target. And your bead should be blurry. The bead on the tip of your barrel.
Yeah.
That's essentially your front sight post, but it's called a bead, I think. That should be blurry, and you're looking at the target. And in fact, the bead should almost cover your target. Like if you're shooting a dove, your bead should almost cover the dove.
Oh, really?
While you're tracking it through the air.
Huh.
And some people close one eye, and this person that was telling me, I was actually purchasing a $1,400 shotgun while this person was telling me
about that.
And so yeah, I got a Benelli shotgun, and
nice.
And so close one eye. He said, well, I know. He's like, well, you're supposed to keep both eyes open. He's like, I grew up closing one eye, and I shoot just fine with a shotgun closing one eye. And he's like, but he's like, so either works, but the conventional advice is both eyes open. And so I took that, and now I shoot pistols, both eyes open. I shoot rifles, both eyes open.
Huh.
You know, why? I mean, God gave us two eyes. Why would I close one?
I like that.
So anyway, so back to the hood ornament, back to, and so you could use that shotgun analogy that you've got the target, you're trying to shoot the game bird because you want to feed your family, right?
Yeah.
And so you're focusing on the target, but you've got to be aware of the beads that are on the tip of your barrel, what's in your hands. The same thing, the steering wheel, what's in your hands right at that moment.
Where are we driving this car?
Where are we driving this car? The hood ornament, and that's an indication too.
I like that.
That's a very long-winded analogy. Hopefully, y'all understood that. The non-shooters out there,
stay on your goal. Sweet. Okay, so we've got that.
We've got that.
That's down. Awesome.
I talked that to death.
Calling it. It is 11:51. It's dead. Right on. Well, okay. Well, we have our next week's topic. Speaking of podcasts, it has definitely grown since the last year. We're on a upwards trajectory. I can't talk, but I'm learning. We've got guests lined up. We've got 3 now. I talked to Joe, so we got 3 lined up. We just got to hammer out a couple of dates for him to come on, but we got some exciting things coming up in the future. One I'm really excited about having on maybe next week or the week after, a friend of yours.
Oh, the writer, the screenwriter.
Yeah, and then we have a psychologist.
Yep.
Coming up. So
He's a teacher, psychologist.
Yeah, stay tuned on that one. We'll have some more updates as we get closer to that. That'll be fun. Just all sorts of stuff in the works.
Yeah, and our business page,
Yes,
Facebook
that's
page.
grown considerably. We just started that 2 or 3 weeks ago, and that's going up. That's where we post all of our updates as well as the group page. So we're just trying to reach as many folks as we can and share the love that we have for this. It's a lot of fun and lots of laughs. So yeah. Anything else?
Nah, man, I've talked that subject to death, man.
All right. So
anything you got though?
Well, if you've stuck with us this long, friends, write down some goals and share them with us so we can see what you got and maybe feed off of that, and we can share them with each other. We've got our YouTube channel going still, and that's the Formless Pod. You can email formlesspod@gmail.com. There's been a couple of things that I've mentioned at the beginning of the podcast. I always read a quote or a song lyrics or movie quote, something interesting I found during the week. And lately, on a couple of episodes, I've asked for people to reply with the name, the title of the movie, or the author, or whatever. I've only had one person respond that was on the YouTube channel. So I still have a bunch of stickers that I'm willing to send you for free. All you got to do is answer a question. So I didn't do it this week. Maybe I'll do it next week. But if you hear the podcast episode, this one was
86.
I think it was 84 or 85. We did one, and then we did one a few episodes before that too. If you get the reference and you know the question, send us an email and we'll send you a sticker and some goodies. So that's still open and free for debate there.
Sweet.
Yeah. I think that's it.
I think that's it.
Awesome.
I think we covered it. So
yeah,
we'll come back with our goals.
And as Sensei Blue says, stay on your goal. That was fun.